I think Kumail and I had a discussion that maybe it's a good idea to start talking about, um, what would it look like? How do we as businesses prepare, especially in the travel and tech sector, um, which is a subsector of the hospitality and tourism piece, which has globally been impacted by the coronavirus. So everyone's talking about it, and I think that information um, is readily available. आप छुप नहीं सकते, आप सुबह उठें, टीवी देखें, LinkedIn पे जाएं, social media, WhatsApp group, it's all over, it's constant, right? So I think everybody is a master now on coronavirus and what the future looks like. So उस हिसाब से तो we can, there's not much to talk about. But where I think it is of value is to think about, okay, what would this time that we have now, knowing what we do, okay, there is no V curve, there is no U curve, we don't know what L is, and in most cases, uh, um, uh, in software business and technology business, L doesn't really work out because the L is typically longer than the runway most tech companies have, which is typically in reserves 6 months. And if you've got more than that, you're lucky. So bringing the conversation on a global perspective, I think सबसे पहली चीज जो शुरू होगी, जो मैं इंटरनेट पे पढ़ रहा हूँ, जो लोगों से बातें कर रहा हूँ, different technology companies that either I'm working with or advising or mentoring or on the board of, they are they're all thinking the same thing that people at Find My Adventure are. Some are waiting to see what tomorrow looks like. I think most, the first thing that people say is that हम plan कर रहे हैं कि आगे क्या होगा. But the minute you get down to another question, they're all thinking about their mitigation strategies. Okay, how would we evolve out of it? Every scenario you look at, you can make predictions, but what if V doesn't happen? What if a U doesn't happen? And what if it's an L? So what happens to our business model? And that's true for consulting work. Like I have to think about it. Okay, how do I have to reposition myself and innovate in this process while most of us are in lockdown for 3 weeks now? And we've already started to get in our heads कि ये जो है, this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. We have to prepare in a very different manner for it. So I thought कि अगर आप domestic, अगर Pakistan, let's get back into Pakistan and Find My Adventures activities, scope, business in Pakistan, because inbound traffic Pakistan mein, it's almost like nothing. It's 0.001% maybe. In 2019, 18, there were less than 18,000 international tourists on a tourist visa who came to Pakistan. So आपको जो figures मिलती हैं 1.7 million and so much GDP contribution and all that, one needs to think about it कि जी उस 1.7 million customer में Pakistani diaspora जो है वो probably 1.4999 million वो है. So considering that it's all domestic tourism, which actually in my view is a good thing for Pakistan, because we are not dependent on inbound, on international tourism that much as some of the other countries in the world are, like Peru and some of the Latin America or South American countries. They are completely dependent. Cuba, right? It's such a poor nation. They have great stuff, but only it's international tourism. So Pakistan, may given our market size, which is 220 million plus, and you've got 60% or 30% of people between 15 and 29, that's a huge, that's 60 million people. So अगर आप उस हिसाब से देखें तो Pakistan is uh, positioned well, and companies and tourism industry in it, compared to global economy where flying will be a concern. लोग जहाज में उठ के जाना नहीं चाहेंगे. एक माइंड में आया हुआ है कि जो कोरोना वायरस है वो जहाज़ों से हुआ, लोगों ने ट्रांसफ़र किया एक शहर से दूसरे, दूसरे मुल्क से इधर गया, कोई ईरान से निकला, कोई चाइना से कैलिफोर्निया गया, and it just spread, right? So that fear will stay with us. Already airlines are back, um, losing money. They have grounded their planes. Most countries have locked down their borders. So अब ये चीजें ये हैं कि this decision is very easy to make, कि lock down the border, close the airplanes. That can get implemented fairly quickly. But when you reopen those things and restart, that takes a long process for it to get. It's not just simply a switch. So if you're talking about global economies or major airport hubs or tourism destinations, if tomorrow somebody gets up and says the world is open for business, it could be weeks before you see, maybe 6 weeks or 2 months before anything starts to happen. So us nazar se agar aap dekhein to maybe Pakistan is better positioned. However, I think, and I believe, and I am promoting it and encouraging people to think differently. अब consumer जो पाकिस्तान में है, अगर वो, I think Anusha and Hamad, we had a discussion yesterday, and some good points came up. उनमें से एक ये है कि अगर आप अब अपने standards को देखते हैं, price point को देखते हैं, right? आप अपना business model देखें. Are we just going to become an aggregator and try to sell packages when there is no consumer? Or if there is a consumer, they are very reluctant. They are concerned कि जी हम कैसे जाएंगे? हमने fly नहीं करना, हम गाड़ी लेके जाएंगे. So गाड़ी का segment क्या बनता है? Is it Islamabad and northern areas? आप लोगों ने रिपोर्टें बनाई हुई हैं जिसमें आपको पता है कि market segmentation आपकी क्या है? What's the ticket size? Where the most number of people are going? And how are they going? So you guys can probably draw some, deductions from that kind of information. But एक चीज जो बार-बार नजर आती है मुझे, and I feel and find, and I struggle with it as a professional and as a consumer, as a guest, is that we, in Pakistan, the quality of standards, hygiene, cleanliness, are below the global standards, and they're generally just dirty. उसकी बहुत सारी वजूहात हैं. Northern areas में आप देखें, they're not professional people. Building किसी की है, ठेके पे किसी को दे दी, वो खुद चला रहा है. धक्का स्टार्ट, किसी ने एक सीजन चला लिया तो वो hospitality expert बन जाता है, वो होटलियर हो जाता है. Customer service, customer journey, all those things, this is like alien language to them. ज़्यादा उन लोगों को समझ भी नहीं आएगी. So इस चीज़ को आप लोग as Find My Adventure कैसे capitalize कर सकते हैं? Can you become an authority which benchmarks quality product that's available? Maybe everybody goes to Find My Adventure because they have a trust of the consumer कि जी अगर आप Find My Adventure की platform पे Walnut Heights है in Kalam, so then it already meets certain criteria, and that criteria is that it will have clean water, bathrooms are clean, garam pani milega, double sheet चादर लगी हुई है, telephone है कमरे में, सुबह नाश्ता मिलेगा आपको, उधर एक tour guide की service भी है, there is a lobby, there is a TV central area, there is a string of things जिसको international language में आप होटल की star rating कहते हैं. It brings a customer loyalty and a trust factor. यदि आप Marriott के होटल में जाएंगे या Ritz Carlton में जाएंगे तो you can expect a certain level of service. And I think that will become very important, and people who will venture out, जो risk लेके जाएंगे initially, उनके लिए थोड़े ज़्यादा पैसे देना बड़ी बात नहीं होगी, as long as they can feel sure and comfortable कि उनकी सेहत ठीक रहेगी and they'll have a good time. So maybe good idea to think about is how does the world look if given we have the same inventory, same kind of people, ठीक है हमारा consumer भी थोड़ा सा जाहिल है. Generally dirty nation. As a nation, we are dirty people. गंद करेंगे, ऊषा फॉरेस्ट में चले जाएंगे, कढ़ाई बना लेंगे, उधर ही डाइपर फेंक देंगे, गंद फेंक देंगे, ट्रैश कैन साथ पड़ा होगा, काहिल लोग हैं, उधर नहीं फेंकेंगे, फेंक देंगे, कीनू खा के लिफाफे में डाल के खिड़की खोली ठा बाहर. सो इस तरह की चीजें जो हैं वो हैं. बट फ्रॉम अ डिलीवरी साइड, फ्रॉम अ प्रोफेशनल सर्विस प्रोवाइडर साइड, can we raise the standards? Should we be talking about that? As aap log, you're a established organization, been in business, a lot of people know about it, done a great job. Maybe you can leverage and think about it, how to position your company for more than what it has been doing. Because it's certainly an opportunity for everybody to think about how to change and behave in. अब देखें 21 तक लॉकडाउन, वो शायद 24 हो जाए, 24 को रमज़ान शुरू हो जाएगा. रमज़ान इज़ अ डेड मंथ, सो वी आर टॉकिंग जून जुलाई. सो 6 वीक्स तो आपके ऐसे ही जैसे पिछले 3 हफ्ते गुजरे हैं, अगले 6 वैसे ही गुजरेंगे. इसके लिए तो कोई रॉकेट साइंटिस्ट की आपको ज़रूरत नहीं है, ना नजूमी होने की ज़रूरत है. दैट्स प्रीटी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड. सो इस 6 हफ्तों के अंदर a lot of people, a lot of companies, individuals, people at home, they will all be thinking about what the future holds like. And instead of speculation, I think better and the smarter approach would be to start preparing for certain things, because we are all smart. We know what's there. So, it's broadly like 1 or 2 takeaways that I would say is that we need to think differently. We need to take advantage of this time that we have right now to reposition, prepare, make contingencies. If we have a 30-month window, fine. If business opens up, we don't need to do much. If it doesn't open for 2 months, what do we need to do? If it doesn't open for 3 months and it opens for 20%, what do we do? Is there another way that we have our software, we have back end, front end, everything ready, we have marketing operations team in play, we are ahead of others? Can we reposition, call it a pivot, or repurpose ourselves, realign, however you want to call it? It could be an evolution, it could be an innovation. It doesn't have to be a pivot, which is a startup terminology loosely used. But so थोड़ा सा गपशप लगाते हैं. I think maybe we open unless Kamal or anybody has anything else that I should talk about or highlight. Is Anusha, we had some good points that you said we should talk about.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I think we did cover, you did cover quite a lot of really interesting things. I think one thing that you have pointed out right now, and you did yesterday as well, was about how authenticity will become an important factor.
Yes.
And exactly where we can sort of play our role in that, especially as being somebody who's already established in this industry.
Right. So I have, thank you, Anusha, that was a good point. So I've seen 2 recessions, one in 1987 and one in 2008. The 87 one was a stock market crash, and the 2008 was a subprime market crash. So in both of them, in one case, I was starting my career. In the other case, I had just gotten promoted, and I was moving from US to Canada to run Canadian operations. And while I was in transit, my boss called me and he said, I hope you haven't left Orlando, because, things have changed and we've got to reposition and, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I can tell you that my first 6-8 months in the new role, when I got to Canada, in sort of what the Corona period is now, और दूसरे तीसरे महीने में मैं पहुंचा, तो सबसे पहले चीज थी cut operations, and I was running operations. So my job was just a bad job. And I was, और मैं खुद जो है, I didn't know if I had a job. So it's a lot of जब आपके ऊपर प्रेशर होता है और आपने परफॉर्म भी करना होता है. And there is no secret or magic pill to it. I think one has to approach कि ये जो है ये sprint नहीं है, ये marathon है. So you prepare for a marathon differently. You add stamina. You do things more constructively. You do business more meaningfully. You are authentic in your dealings with each other. First of all, with your own self. You're honest. You have to be honest, because we all have time now to think about and reflect on who we are and what we do. हम सच बोलते हैं नहीं बोलते हमारे is our moral compass right? Secondly, as businesses, because since businesses are run by people for people, if you think around, okay, if I as a consumer, I'm thinking about my authenticity, don't you think I would want to do business or work with somebody who's also authentic? जो झूठ ना बोले, जो मेरे hard earned money का ख्याल करे कि जी how will my package or my tour work? They want authenticity in relationship, and that will bring more loyalty. Marriott and all these big players in the world, इनकी सबसे बड़ी चीज होती है कि they are looking for loyalty. How do you grow loyalty? And that comes from delivering and connecting by the company culture. They want to show it. So authenticity is very important. I think consumer will demand it. Customers will expect it, and businesses need to deliver it on a full circle. जो आपका guest की digital touch point की जो life cycle है, उसको ये journey को, I mean, make it authentic. Do less, but do good stuff. So anything else for your?
Hi, Asim, Kumail here.
Hi Kumail.
कैसे हैं आप?
अल्लाह का शुक्र है.
I think ये जो the marathon and the sprint is very relevant. जो आपने example use की है. Because
Yeah.
again, and if you could share what was the situation like in जो 1987 का आप कह रहे हैं, because I think a lot of us have just started our careers. Most of the team is probably in their first or second job at the moment. So मतलब how was that 1987 wala time? How did you get through that?
Yeah. So I graduated in 1988. 87 में crash हुआ. I had sent 150 resumes out, and I got luckily I got two offers to be a part of the management development program for Hyatt Hotels, which is based out of Chicago, and I accepted New York. So I landed in Grand Hyatt, New York, which is on 42nd Street and Park Avenue, as assistant manager, food and beverage. And anyway, I was just happy कि मुझे नौकरी मिल गई. But when I got promoted in 8 months, I had to run a fine dining restaurant. And the business was so bad that मेरी shift होती थी 3:30 बजे के करीब. 5 बजे के dinner time, pre-theater के लिए. So I used to go in the kitchen, get a frying pan, put some shrimp, some olive oil, some garlic, roast it, put some basil, and take that frying pan and run it through the hotel lobby, and then occasionally go out on 42nd Street के कोने पे to give people appetizers कि जी आपके try करें. It's a great restaurant. It was called Trumpet's Bar and Grill. I used to work for Donald Trump at that time. He owned 49%. So I met him many times as a side note in the same restaurant I'm talking about. So times were tough and there was very little business, and you had to, as a business owner, ऊपर से भी आपको pressure आता था कि the quality has to be really good. You can't skim if you're, I'll give you examples from my restaurant. Okay, excuse me. Okay, we had fresh bread made. Our coffee was really good. I used to ground the coffee myself. हम उस matches बना के हर एक को देते थे. We had, high-end complimentary water. So we were doing a lot of things, which in good time, when the demand is there, right? It's a classic thing. जब आप घर बेच रहे होते हैं, you look at the real estate is a very good example. When the going is good and everybody wants to buy, the real estate agents don't call you back and they play the game. When the market is down, they are starting to call you, right? It's just human dynamics. We know that. So authenticity and really trying to understand what a guest wants and that customer satisfaction piece was very, very important. I think, Kamal, you raised a very good point, because those few years that from 1988 to 91, when I worked in New York, and were probably my most memorable learning and fundamental years of my career. And I think those who take advantage of this time, because businesses which get distilled in adversity have the ability to be more resilient, and they will weather more storms. They get prepared. Like I see a lot of my friends and colleagues जो कि tough time से नहीं गुजरे हुए. Obviously it's also a function of experience. If you haven't seen time, have to you wouldn't know about it. You can only read about it. But the experience really comes once you go through it. So I've gone through it, and my advice to all of you is that, and I've been learning from each one of those. पहली दफा में तो मुझे समझ ही कोई नहीं थी. I mean, I was just like, I was just happy I had a job, and a good job, and a great job, in a great city. Very tough, right? I mean, to survive in hospitality in New York City, you can't be an average Joe. You just can't be, because everybody's good. So, and then 2008, I was in my mid-career. I had just gotten promoted, and I had to run from hotel to hotel and look at their P&L statements and see कि जी, where is the money that I can take off? मैं क्या hostess को cut कर दूँ, इस position को eliminate कर दूँ, कितने restaurants हैं hotel के अंदर, कितने बंद कर सकते हैं, एक को चलाएंगे, dinner बंद कर दो, limited menu कर दो, room service close कर, all kind of things. And then from that time, we as a company, we came out more resilient, and we called it a Project Zen. And Project Zen was basically going into hotels and doing a forensic audit. And that meant Kiji, we looked at all the P&L statement and line items to look at what is justified, what is needed, and what doesn't impact the customer index. And if it does, to what extent can we absorb it? So we did that as a company. And I used to go to hotels for red zone visits or forensic audits. And it's not a nice thing, man. I tell you, it's not nice for the ones who are doing it. And it's certainly not nice for the ones who are receiving it. और मुझे पता है जब मैं होटलों में कुछ में जाता था, big hotels, Boston में या New York में या California, Florida, wherever they may be, and you would go and you would meet all the team in the morning, and there is a general manager and the executive team, and then 25-30 senior managers and directors, and they know कि किसी न किसी की नौकरी आज जाएगी, ये कुछ की जाएगी, right? So those are decisions which are necessary. Nonetheless, they are not always nice. But if those decisions are not made, there is no business to be nice about. I just had a conversation with a friend of mine 3-4 days ago, and he runs a MICE business, meetings, incentives, conference, and events. in London, Pakistan, and some of the other places. So उससे मेरी बात हो रही थी, and he and we were talking about his business because his main business was to take big groups of people from Pakistan, from India, from here there to Croatia, to Dubai or to Thailand, or destinations, and then booking airlines, and then booking hotel accommodations, and booking, it was a full package of what you do in a larger scale, more B2B business. So wo he's thinking, he's rethinking, and uski 25 saal ki business hai, aap soche. He's been doing it for about 20-25 years. आप लोगों को 18 महीने 2 साल हुए, maybe full throttle में. So people who have done, you may be, because it's a software platform, it's very good. Okay.
Thank you. I think I think pretty clear picture what you just said. Hamad, would you like to take over for questions?
So we are going to open the floor for questions. I think Ibad has a question. So Ibad, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Asim. Like, first of all, really honored to attend this session. Like, it's very insightful. So I have like 2 questions. First is like, given the situation that we are not facing a pandemic, ठीक है, अगर ये कोरोना वायरस आया ही नहीं होता ना, तो आपकी यहाँ पे एक बात हो रही है एक्सपीरियंसेस की. अब मेरा ये सवाल था कि फॉर एग्जांपल बीइंग अ मार्केट प्लेस, अगर हम लोग एक्सपीरियंसेस के ऊपर फोकस करते हैं तो लाइक हमारा जॉब है मार्केट के लिए इनेबलर्स बना. तो अगर हम एक्सपीरियंसेस के ऊपर अगर फोकस करते हैं तो और उससे हमारी पेस अगर स्लो हो जाती है, तो लाइक व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट दैट? एंड सेकेंडली लाइक अभी फॉर एग्जांपल डेस्परेट टाइम्स, डेस्परेट मेजर्स, हम लोग एक ट्रैवल सेंट्रिक कंपनी है, राइट? सो आई वाज थिंकिंग कि अभी अगर हम लोग हम मोनेटाइजेशन के लिए, लाइक यू सेड बिफोर, के थिंक डिफरेंटली, लाइक उसके लिए हम अगर डिफरेंट मेजर्स लेते हैं टू मोनेटाइज, लाइक करंटली अगर वो ट्रैवल रिलेटेड नहीं होती, मतलब लाइक वो रेलेवेंट नहीं होती हमारे बिजनेस से, सो इज इट अ राइट थिंग टू डू?
अच्छा, so I don't understand your first question, but I'll tell you let's answer the second question first. So you're a travel related company, and it's all about experiences, right? I'm going to have a discussion with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
So
Can
आप
you hear me?
experiences किसके लिए create कर रहे हैं?
Customers के लिए.
Okay, where are your customers?
All over the world, like specifically right now in Pakistan.
No, but where are they? Do you have any bookings? Do you have any business?
Like currently, no.
So you have no customers.
Okay.
They're all quarantined at home.
Yeah.
Right. So आपके पास अभी customers तो है नहीं.
हाँ. सही है. नहीं मेरा like जो second वाला.
नहीं but आप सुने ना, I'm gonna answer your question by asking you questions as well. So आपका question ये है कि should we be thinking about or not? Yes, my answer is you should be. Like most everybody is, because your business, as you know, will no longer be the business you will be ready for. Most people who continue to do the same business as they did before will, I think, will struggle for the reasons I have mentioned before, because people and consumer expectations would change. No B2B business, no CEO is going to send people कि जी मैं बूरबन में जाके जो है वो 20-30 लोगों की या 200 लोगों का इवेंट कराऊंगा और उसमें से कोई बीमार हो जाए और CEO की कल को छुट्टी हो जाती है, कोई एपिडेमिक या पैंडेमिक शुरू चीज हो जाती है. So that concept is going to be gone. I think e-learning is going to be a lot more. What we're doing here in Zoom, it's going to kick in a lot. I think people are going to go into digital platforms a lot. Of course, if you are a restaurant, you can't bring that experience online. You have to eat a burger to talk about it and to get full. But उधर जो है वो hygiene and service and standards and value proposition की जो मैंने बात की है वो kick in हो जाएंगे. So I think it is important if you do not change and do not think, then what would you do for the next 6 months? Wait. बात आप मुझे
yes,
बताएं,
right.
आप बताएं
बिल्कुल.
आप क्या
अच्छा
करेंगे
मेरा जो
अगले?
ये अच्छा आसिम, लाइक मेरा जो ये सेकंड वाला क्वेश्चन था, इसमें लाइक मेरा क्वेश्चन ही ये था कि अगर सिचुएशन बेसिकली पेंडेमिक की नहीं होती, अगर जैसे फर्स्ट वाला, मैं आपको फर्स्ट वाला क्वेश्चन रिपीट कर देता हूँ जो पेंडेमिक के लिए दीजिए.
नहीं मुझे एक मिनट, आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई आर यू टॉकिंग अबाउट कि अगर पेंडेमिक ना होती.
नहीं, ये सेकंड क्वेश्चन था जब आप एक्सपीरियंसेस के ऊपर आप बात कर रहे थे ना मुझसे, तो सेकंड क्वेश्चन पे मुझे रेज हुआ था. जी जी हाँ, वो भी पूरे सेशन से. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन जो मेरा था ना वो ये था कि फॉर एग्जांपल इफ वी आर नॉट डूइंग बिजनेस एज यूजुअल लाइक ड्यूरिंग द पेंडेमिक, तो और हम लोग कुछ चीजें ऐसी करते हैं मोनेटाइजेशन के लिए जो ट्रैवल सेंट्रिक नहीं है, सो वुड इट बी लाइक फेयर विद आवर इमेज और नॉट?
So you can still be, अब देखें आपके पास resources क्या हैं. Good question. You have software team, you have marketing team, right? You have a business which is running. It's a delivery. Your product is you curating experiences, right? So now your product is experience. So change your product. Change your product. You have what you have. You have customer base. उन्होंने जाना है, ठीक है? आपके पास vendors हैं. What if you go to all your vendors because आपके पास जो consumer आ रहा है, you need to have a pipeline of vendors, right? You need a room supply, rental car, ये वो उसी के सहारे तो आप चलते हैं. So वो लोग जो हैं उनको अगर आप जाके पढ़ाना लिखाना शुरू कर दें कि भाई बात सुनो, गंदा होटल तुम्हारा नहीं चलेगा, तुम्हें साफ करना पड़ेगा, साफ ऐसे ऐसे करेंगे, ये चीजें हैं, हम आपको ट्रेनिंग करते हैं, हम आपको सिखाते हैं, हम आपको बताते हैं.
And I think I will build on to this. I think this is the time where we have others improve over their working methods. के तुम लोग अगर 10 साल से इस तरह काम कर रहे थे तो आगे 10 साल तक इस तरह काम नहीं चलेगा. इस काम को किस तरह इनोवेट करना है, किस तरह बेहतर करना है, वो पार्ट हमारा प्ले होगा. प्लस आई थिंक एयरबीएनबी एक्सपीरियंसेस को अगर इबाद हम फॉलो करें तो आप देखना उन्होंने बड़ा अच्छा एक ऑनलाइन एक्सपीरियंसेस की तरफ शिफ्ट किया है.
बिल्कुल.
So we have to explore whatever opportunities we can.
But एक बात का ख्याल रखिएगा कि we all look at Airbnb and it's a great model, but they operate in a very mature market.
Different market, yes, completely understood. वो तो I completely understand.
So I mean, if they come to Pakistan, be a great product and wrong market for them. They won't be able to execute as they cannot right now, because until unless Pakistan में हमारा वाईफाई की कनेक्टिविटी उस बैंडविड्थ पे नहीं है, डिजिटल इंटीग्रेशन इतनी नहीं है, डिजिटल पेमेंट्स नहीं है, हमारे जो हैं वो कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन के राइट्स इतने नहीं है, आप चले जाते हैं, राइट? सो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ चैलेंजेस and there is a lack of professionalism. That's my point, that it's incumbent upon us to actually improve the way we operate, and we as professionals in the space need to. I mean, I've been doing it ever since I've come back to Pakistan. I've come back with this simple mission, is to make enough noise in the tourism and hospitality place for people to realize that we are not doing a good job. We're not doing a good job in the restaurants. We're not clean. We call the wrong things wrong names. हम जाहिल लोगों को खिला रहे हैं, and we think everybody through Instagram, they think they're smart. But as professionals, you need to separate yourself from the others. You're doing a different kind of a thing. आप लोगों को बताएं, आप सिखाएं, समझाएं, किचन में जाएं, उनको बताएं कि चीज़ गलत है, चादर लगानी चाहिए. अगर आप पिछले 3 महीने से गंदा कंबल यूज कर रहे हैं दीर के अंदर और ह्यूमिडिटी है, तो उसके अंदर खटमल पैदा होगा और फिर वो अगले को काटेगा और फिर आप नहीं आएंगे अगले. He has to think like that. People in Kailash need to know कि it's not okay to, serve you food with dirty, मिट्टी से भरे हुए नाखूनों से. You have to present yourself better. You can't price gouge in Shogran in summer, and Arcadian shouldn't be charging 30,000 rupees because they are the best in a garbage market. right? That's $200. $200, you can get a Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. So why? Because he's the best, so he can charge it. What if the others got better? Who will benefit? The consumer will. Competitiveness is very good. It forces, monopoly is never good, right? We need competitive environment in which people will be forced to think how to earn the business. ये नहीं कि जी आप निकले तो अगले 100 आ जाएंगे, आपने नहीं कमरा चाहिए तो मैं अगले को दे दूंगा गंदे से गंदा भी. So that is how you can, I think, you can bridge that gap, because I know I'm in touch with a couple of other CEOs in European markets who have got different kind of product. यही आपकी तरह की जर्नी है, 2-3 साल businesses में है, you know, fantastic growth. I know some companies who are in Montreal right now. There is another one called State 22. They curate, so it's a aggregator for room inventory of all the room portals. So Airbnb, Booking.com, ये वो फलाना for event space. वो बेचारे जो हैं वो 2 साल से इतनी फैंटास्टिक ग्रोथ कर रहे थे. कुमाल, you should Google it. State 22, fantastic company. अब बेचारे जो हैं वो they're having the same conversation.
Bilkul, I think you had mentioned them earlier. I have looked them up.
Yeah, वो देखो, they are exactly doing the same thing. They just let go of their core team में से एक उनकी Amy जो थी, they had to let her go. She was head of marketing and all that. So it is important, Ahmad, to think and ask and understand these questions. And I want to ask, अगर आपको नहीं समझ आई, I want to, you know, answer it in another way कि आपको समझ आए कि the image is only going to be as good as you have a business. If your business shuts down, I don't think that's going to be good for image.
No, like obviously that was the question, and like you answered it pretty well. तो मेरा कंसर्न भी बिल्कुल यही था. लाइक अभी भी ना, जैसे आपने देखा होगा जो Airbnb एक्सपीरियंसेस की भी बात हो रही थी, like the team is working on them and we are trying to create like experiences for the consumers, like they can sit home and like have new experiences and etc etc.
आप देखें ना, आप एक प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हैं. So, and I'll tell you how important this is. A question Anusha always like keywords. So this is called relevance. अब मैं अगर यहाँ से sushi उठा के ले जाऊँ और उसको ग्वाल मंडी में जाके बेचूं, do you think people will like it?
No, obviously not.
No, right? Great sushi,
yeah.
Wrong market. या अगर मैं कढ़ाई उठा के ले जाऊँ किसी sushi restaurant में कहूँ कि लोगों को ये खाएं, तो वो भी नहीं खाएंगे. So bringing a experience which Airbnb is doing for 90% of their market, which is US and Europe. पाकिस्तान का एक्सपीरियंस आप अपना कंज्यूमर देखें, आप लोगों ने सर्विस किए होंगे. 40,000 आपका अगर एवरेज फैमिली हाउस होल्ड है, फैमिली जा रही है आ रही है, उनको किस किस्म का एक्सपीरियंस है? What do they need? Maybe they need an easy delivery over there. They need a family room. खाना उनको खुला valuable दें, उनका कमरा साफ हो, उनको एक शाम को बारबेक्यू दे दें, bonfire लगा दें, ऊपर पहाड़ों में ले जाएं, अखरोट खिला दें थोड़े बहुत, खुशी खुशी नीचे आ जाएंगे. लेकिन अब यहाँ पे हमने तो वो नहीं ना करना कि we are bungee jumping from 280 feet into the Okanagan Valley and things like that. We don't have that. Neither is the consumer looking for that. So experience deliver वो करें जो यहाँ के लिए relevant. And I think we should bring the standards up. Have conversations with your vendors. कि जी आप क्या कर रहे हैं? Maybe एक दिन सारे होटलों वालों से कर लो market by market. एक दिन आप जो है वो उसी दिन सुबह मार्केट में होटल करें, शाम को उनकी जो सप्लाई है जीप वाले माफिया उन लोगों से बातें करें कि क्या करोगे. अब नीचे शोग्रान से ऊपर किवाई से ऊपर कुछ जा ही नहीं रहा, तो तुम लोग क्या कर रहे हो इस टाइम में?
Yeah.
Right? It's a very valid question. I can tell you, they be sitting by Abshar hotel over there. तो वो तो अकेले बैठे होंगे, दोनों 3-4 लोग बैठे होंगे.
So I think Atif Riaz, he's our Chief Technical Officer. Atif had a question.
Ji,
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Assalamu alaikum everyone, first of all, and I want to say it's an honor, or this has been a very productive call so far. My question is from you, sir, considering Pakistan's market, do you think virtual experiences can work over here?
Yeah, I don't think Pakistan or anywhere, maybe I'm not young enough to appreciate the depth of that question. But I don't think the experience, which is virtual, because we haven't evolved, right? The tech hasn't taken over the life that much. Until unless it does, I don't think the value proposition from a VR is going to be the same, because ना आपके पास वो technology अगर आपने वो आंखें लगानी है, आप किस तरह देंगे virtual experience? Like, what do? You can simulate.
I think
like VR
is the most common way to go about it. But considering Pakistan's industry and everything, I think people have not accepted tech to that level yet. So I wanted to know based on your experience, what you think.
I think you're right. Pakistan ke alawa, I don't even think it's accepted that much, right? I mean, agar VR mein aap dekhen, some of the smartest countries are probably in Central Europe and Estonia and things like that, Nordic countries. उधर आप अभी देखें स्वीडन में भी वो लोग भी जो हैं उनका एक्सपीरियंस जो है, they are very touchy feely people. They go to a restaurant, they smell their wine, they eat their cheese, they go look at a building or they look and appreciate art, right? So until unless the complete एक generation गुजरेगी जिसके अंदर अगले 20 सालों में tech बहुत ज़्यादा involve होगा, maybe in, I don't know, maybe 20 years, 10 years. I don't see it happening in my lifetime, where if I had the option to actually go do something as opposed to turn on and see it, I would probably go do it.
Plus, I think adding to this, जहाँ पे ये खासतौर virtual experiences promote किए जा रहे हैं, so other people have some knack for probably learning from history and all of that, virtual museum tours and all of that. Pakistan, right, that is on the very lower end. People don't actually care for what is being offered in the experience. They just want to take selfies.
हाँ, but वो चीज तो कोई नई नहीं है यार. I mean, virtual tours जो हैं वो librarium, museums, ये वो, even in some of the cathedrals and all that. I've been doing that for 10, 15 years. I went to Alhambra, back in 80s, and they had it over there. I was in Museum of Modern Art 5 years ago. पूरा complete उनकी वो भी है. आप उनका एक membership ले सकते हैं. You don't even have to go to the museum. It runs you through on your screen, and वो page खुलता है. आपने वो पहनी भी है. You zoom in, you zoom out. But I'm not the customer for that. Let's just say, and I don't think it's the right, Pakistan's the right market at this point for now.
Okay, fair enough. So Umar Humayun had a question. He was raising hand.
Ji.
Assalamu Asim. Assalamu everyone.
Assalamualaikum.
Very insightful session, Asim. Asim, since I'm from the B2B team, I had a question related to that. So my after once the lockdown is over and we go back to our offices, my expectation is that majority of the corporates will be considering cutting costs left, right, and center. So what I'm expecting is they will be scaling down on these on their employee engagement activities and employee retreats and stuff. What's your view on that? Do you feel the same way?
Yes, I do. I think if you will see any business come, it will come from B2C before it will come from B2B. And I tell you the logic behind it, because B2B is run and owned by people who are in B2C, right? अगर मैं CEO एक कंपनी का या आप हैं, आप पहले खुद ट्रैवल करेंगे ना, तो आप, that's your private time. People who make decisions in private time, they get then into the B2B space. So अगर मैं कंपनी चला रहा हूँ और मेरा स्टाफ आई एम सीइंग कि वो ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, हुंजा जा रहे हैं अपनी ये वो, आई फील मोर कंफर्टेबल कि जी नाउ आई कैन हैव अ कॉर्पोरेट इवेंट. मे बी बुरबन नहीं जाएंगे, बट अगर कराची में है तो मे बी विल hire a local company and go to the beach and set up a little place and do some barbecue and all that. We won't make a big deal, but a small team will go to Karachi, do one there, do one in Lahore, small one, right? I may break it down as opposed to saying कि मैं बुरबन में जाके 20-200 लोगों का हुआ कर दूँ. So first it'll be B2B, B2C market, and I think then it'll be B2B market, and you must consider that the travel segment is the luxury expense on any statement. ठीक है ना? So आपका it's going to be a challenge because most businesses right now are rethinking how they are going to operate. Training institutes, universities, restaurants, hotels, offices, consulting firms, right? I mean, they're all now rethinking, what do we need the office for? And what is the essential work and things like that. So I think a lot of realization
basically
is...
it's time to innovate.
Ji.
Okay, thank you.
So next in line we had Maru.
Ji.
Hi, Asim. Firstly, thank you for taking out the time to speak to all of us. My question is in context to what you said about establishing ourselves as industry leaders or building credibility and trust within our customers during this time. What I wanted to ask was कि जैसे हम अभी in the process of sort of pivoting and figuring out हम in circumstances में क्या चीजें कर सकते हैं, because obviously we can't sell our standard travel and tour packages because that's not going to happen for a while. So how do we build trust within our consumers when we're trying to pitch them an entirely new service or something that we haven't done before?
Okay. So that's a good question. So strategy discussions are always about being authentic with your own self, right? You have to put everything on the table and take everything off the table as well, because we don't know what the future is like, but we do know it ain't the same, right? You can go with what you do know to figure out what you don't know. I'll give you an example. Again, in that 2008 period when I was going through all these things, we had and it's a very relevant one now, we had a strategy meeting in one of the hotels that I had opened up as part of the role that I had. And all the regional and the corporate executives went there for 2 days. And we all had so there was a functional head for operations, which was me. There was human resources, there's sales and marketing, there was finance and accounting, and then we had the president, so on and so forth. And we all had to report and strategize and talk about what we know, what we don't know. And then how do we go out and get that information to know so we can make informed decisions? And I think that is where the discussion should take place, as a company, aap logon ko, to build customer trust. I don't think that'll be a problem once the company itself is trusting itself that we are doing the right thing. You can't sell packages and tour experiences because there is nobody to sell them to. But how do you make your customers, those who you have had, trust you? I think by you have like a digital strategy. Somebody must be looking at that. So once your mission and vision, and don't start sending a message which is not aligned and coherent. As a company, we can agree to disagree, but when we go out in public, we must all speak the same language and belief. So it must resonate. That message must resonate through all social media platforms and through all engagements of staff within each other, internally and externally to the consumers and the customers as well. So to build trust, I think you have to be authentic. Like I can't be more simplistic about it. आप authentic होंगे ना, you may lose some business because, you know, you could have lied or you could have said things differently and would have gotten it, but then it would have come and bitten you. So authenticity is there is no substitute for building a trust. If I tell you something and I do it and I consistently do it, there is no way, Maruf, for you not to believe me, right? You will trust me.
Yeah.
Because you have come to learn that if I talk to Asim and I ask him something, I know that he will always be honest with me.
Yeah.
So you will come to believe that. So that's the same thing. You just be honest and you keep on building that. But it's more important to know what the trust you're building is for. What are you guys doing? I think that's the other question, is that how do you pivot and move ahead?
Yeah, I think I just want to know your take on this, but do you think it's significantly harder for startups and businesses which are selling non-essential services? Because how do you pitch those and market those when right now those aren't the important?
नहीं, not really. देखिए मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूँ. अगर आप पर्सपेक्टिव लें, नॉन एसेंशियल, आपका ख्याल में तेल एसेंशियल नहीं है? कितना एसेंशियल है?
बिल्कुल.
Oil. So oil is now hitting a 20-year low.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they have to think about how to do their struggling on that side. कोई फैसलाबाद में आप जाएं, वहाँ पे वो कुछ ड्रामे बना रहा है, वो कुछ चीजें बना रहा है, right? I don't know if they are called essential or not, but उनके भी businesses बंद हैं, ठप पड़े हुए हैं containers. Nobody can go anywhere. Countries are closed. There is like nothing happening. कोई क्या चीज है? The only essential thing is your hospitals. So med tech is going to go up. Anything based on tech which can have a software element to get quicker to the market with reduced cost. I think this is a very architectural question. How do you design your experience, and at what touch points, digital touch points, do you create an element of loyalty and trust? And maybe we need to get back into thinking about, I'm not a big fan of call centers, right? But maybe we need to open up ourselves more to people, and because we won't have that much business, right? हर 10 साल के बाद कोई adjustment आ जाती है. Volume बहुत ज़्यादा थी, हमने call centers बना के business को automate कर दिया. They take 80% of garbage calls, only escalated, bot and so forth, because labor is expensive. But right now, labor is not expensive. Labor is available. All kind of labor is available. Seasoned people are available at half price. Airline people are, working in grocery stores. So what has happened is that the overall quality of labor has improved as it has, more educated people, more tech-savvy people are doing jobs which were not available before to them. So that reset is going to happen. Like I particularly feel for students who are graduating who were supposed to graduate in May, including my daughter. I mean, right now she is upset that uski graduation ceremony nahi hogi. So everyone's impacted. And I think this is a very relevant discussion to have, to think about, okay, how do you utilize the time that you have now? At least if I had to say immediately the next 6 weeks, you have to sure I don't see anything changing except that you'll get more. Punjab में more cases, Sindh में more cases, China में दोबारा शुरू हो गया, टोरंटो में इतने मर गए, न्यूयॉर्क जो है वो कह रहा है अब हम अपनी रिकवरी मोड के बारे में सोच सकते हैं, right? Mayor Cuomo has said that they can start thinking about opening New York City. They may start opening New York City, but who's going to go there? अब ये भी सोचें, कौन जाएगा? न्यू जर्सी से जाएंगे, उन्होंने तो अपना लॉकडाउन किया है. तो क्या, like what will they do? उन्होंने तो they'll seal off New York City. So that means कि ये entering from the port, they'll have a long list of protocol. आप अपना नाक दिखाएं, कान दिखाएं, आंख दिखाएं, temperature कराएं, ये करें, इधर बैठे 2 दिन बैठे 3 दिन बैठे क्या खाया क्यों खाया किससे मिले वो प्रोसेस इतना ज्यादा बड़ा हो
So I think yeah, so building upon that, sir, building upon our discussion from our discussion yesterday. So we this is not a question. This is more of a discussion point. That how you explained it to us that the new normal and like normal what we previously thought to be normal and routine has absolutely changed, and how previously we were only concerned about the safety during the travel and the safety for an essential feature, and now how health is going to be important as well. So yeah. I think like you have like, can you enlighten us more and the team?
Yes. So आप देखें ना जो चीज आजकल जो essential services में है, it is the only thing which is open at night. So I live in Lahore, in DHA, okay, and been living here for 30 years. My club is closed, my market is closed, I haven't gone anywhere. 3 बजे जो है वो ये grocery store भी बंद हो जाता है. The only thing that's open is petrol pump या pharmacy. या वो छोटा वाला तंदूर जहाँ से आपको रोटी छोटी मिल जाती है वो भी 6-7 बजे तक. And it's going to be like this for next 6 weeks. Yesterday I had to go to a hospital for an MRI, right? The protocol that I had to go, my mother had a bad pain in the back, and so we had to go and get an MRI done. In the past, it would have been a fairly simple process. कि गाड़ी में आप बैठे हैं, आपने गाड़ी पार्क किया, आप चले गए, आपने जाके काम कराया. अब I had to think 20 things. मास्क हैं कि नहीं है, ग्लव हैं कि नहीं है, किधर जाएंगे, किस हाथ लगाना है नहीं लगाना, गाड़ी किधर पार्क करूंगा, ये करूंगा, वो लगाया हुआ था. Like MRI से ज़्यादा स्यापा process का था. So that process, Hamad, is what I think will become a huge pain in the butt or ease, depending upon how we as consumers and service providers behave and understand the gravity of this entire process. Hygiene is bad in Pakistan. Sanitation is bad. Sewerage systems are bad. आपके जो हमारे this is particularly about how can we address the health piece, sanitation, restaurants, food and beverage, right? Big thing. I was in Kailash doing a training for their hotels over there. Exactly this time last year I was in Kailash. I can't even think about going to Kailash right now, right? Yeah. So good thing I did that. Yeah, in retrospect. So they just don't have an idea. उन लोगों को ट्रेनिंग भी नहीं मिली भैया. आप you can't expect, like if I get up and start asking somebody, Hamad ya Kumail ya Maruk, tell me the recipe, how do you make ceviche? Right? I don't know. Maybe somebody knows, somebody doesn't know. I can't expect you to know because you've not been trained in it. Those people in Kailash, Hunza, Dir, Chitral have different layers because our benchmark is so low that we say, Gilgit, oh, they're fantastic, man. Hunza, they're Saaf, Sutre, Chitral, fantastic. Yes, they're hygienic people, but they're not professional about the service that they're doing. So that is where you can play a significant role in teaching and showing these people. Like when I was in Kailash, and they were a fantastic bunch. They would show up every day and do this and had a keen desire to learn and improve, simply because they knew their livelihood depended on it. In a lot of these northern areas, there's no other economic driver besides tourism and hospitality. Right? पहाड़ियाँ हैं, पहाड़ में तो खेत तो है नहीं, कुछ उगेगा नहीं. वो बकरी है, ये वो 2-3 चीजें हैं, क्या आप दूध बना लेंगे, चीज, खुरमानी, fruit, bus. There is nothing. The only thing is you have raw beauty. And if you can create like what Switzerland, 200 years ago, Switzerland was like this. सड़कें बन गई, ये हो गया, बिजली जाती नहीं है. You get all these beautiful pictures, snow, little hut, wooden, you know, it's so romantic and idealistic and blah, blah, blah. Why? Just because the infrastructure is there. और तो कोई चीज़ नहीं है. आपकी यहाँ पे भी सड़कें साफ होंगी, बर्फों में तो लोग जाएंगे गाड़ियाँ लेके. ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है. वो you know, that's another issue of infrastructure. But yeah, it's important that when you have these discussions, and you know, as a company you need to decide, okay, what would be the new verbiage. I'm sure आप लोगों ने consistency create की होगी. Those who were on the sales side were calling and had a standardized script. I think those scripts need to be revised and looked at and become more authentic and you know, less salesy, pitchy type, and more connectivity, because loyalty comes from connecting emotionally, right? ये आप लोगों से मेरी एक request है कि I've actually written an article on authenticity. It's easy to confuse कि what is authentic, are you being true? But authenticity के बारे में, trust के बारे में ना जाके पढ़ें थोड़ा बहुत, and you will realize it. And it happened to me one time when my boss, and this must have been 2010 or 11, about 9 years ago, and I think it was Washington or Boston maybe. And I was having a meeting with my boss, Elaine, and she said, Asim, you know what? You're a great manager, but you need to be authentic. I said, यार ये क्या बदतमीजी है? इतना अच्छा मेरा result आ रहा है, I'm leading margins, ये वो ठक, you know, $7 billion की business में चला रहा हूँ, आप मुझे कह रही हैं authentic? झूठ तो नहीं बोलता मैं. But then I started to read about it, and it's a very different. I think you all will be very, very amazed and surprised what authenticity means. I mean, it comes from a deep inward out. You know, by बहुत सारी चीज में आपको जो है, you're less worried about the external image of what people may think, and it's more about what you believe and what you want to feel, right? It comes from inwards out. So if your moral compass and your baseline is grounded, then you will probably appeal to the right people without even making an effort. So, you know, in corporate world, you're ass kissing most of the time. I don't know if you can call that as a authentic behavior, right? So I think that's important to have that kind of clarity.
Thank you so much, Asim. And with that, we are going to move towards concluding this particular session. So just to discuss what we discussed, just to highlight what we discussed today. So we talked about authenticity and the importance of authenticity, and we also discussed how it is important to build trust within the consumer to actually survive in the future days, and how we can say that relatively domestic is going to do a little better than the international traveling in the future days to come, and similarly how health is becoming much more of a primary player in our decision making processes in the days coming forward. And with on yes sir.
Yeah, health को ना थोड़ा सा आप define कर दें, because health तो हमेशा से important रही है, मगर अब उसकी जो from your relevance perspective of your business model ना, आप उसको break down करें कि अगर आप consumer हैं, आप 10 लोगों का एक टूर बेच रहे हैं, तो उन 10 लोगों के बारे में उनके माइंड से क्या गुजर रहा होगा? वो आपकी तरह है ना, इंसान है, ठीक है? वो भी अभी लॉकडाउन में थे, वो बहादुरी दिखा के अब खुल गया. लत से 1 सितंबर को कहते हैं कि जी बड़ा अच्छा मौसम होता है, कल आम चलते हैं, ठीक है? अब वो कालाम जा रहे हैं, आपने उनको जो एक प्रोसेस देना है, एक पिच करनी है जी, आप यहाँ से इस्लामाबाद जाएंगे, इस्लामाबाद से आप वो गाड़ी लेंगे, वो आपको उधर लेके जाएगी स्वाबी, फिर आप बहरीन से दूसरा लेंगे, वो वहाँ से आपको लेके जाएगी, वो फलाना होगा, ये ऊपर पहुंचेंगे. In the meantime, you need to now highlight different things. You need to talk about कि जी आप अपनी जो है वो एक मे बी प्रोटोकॉल बनाएं, सैनिटाइजर साथ रखें, टॉयलेट पेपर साथ रखें, आप अपने थोड़े से स्नैक्स साथ रखें. रास्ते में जो सिर्फ साफ जगह होगी वो आपको मिलेगी हरिपुर से ऊपर आगे जाके तख्तबाई के पास, ठीक है. उधर से आपने करना है. हम सिर्फ ये रिकमेंड करते हैं कि आप वो खुराक महल में आपने खाना है चकदरा में, क्योंकि वो साफ जगह है. राइट. सो इस तरह की आपको थोड़ी बहुत चीजें बतानी पड़ेंगी, वो कनेक्टिविटी बनानी पड़ेगी अपने कंज्यूमर के साथ, अपने कस्टमर के साथ कि यू आर टेकिंग इट मोर देन ए सेल. You are concerned, genuinely concerned about their well-being while they are doing business with you. I think that's the right
right way to look at health, I think. So with that, thank you so much, Asim, for this particular session. I'm sure everybody learned a lot of things today, and thank you so much for taking time for us. It was a definite.
I appreciate it. Thank you for arranging it. Hope it was beneficial, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, ask me questions, take and learn, be authentic, right? Authenticity requires you to open up and ask questions, and if there's anything I can be as a resource to anybody, please take advantage of it. All right. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Asim. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.